So you're very welcome. My name is Jared Dooley. I am going to speak to you today about our part-time Masters in Management. And it is delivered 100% online by our expert team here in the Michael Smurfit Graduate Business School in Dublin in Ireland. So it's 7:30 p.m. in Ireland, Wednesday the 29th of April, 2026. I'm going to start by asking you a question. Imagine where you could be by 1 p.m. on Thursday, the 29th of April, 2027. Some of the people watching this right now, either if you're attending live, um, you know, or you're watching the recording, some of you, you'll be nearly halfway through a world-class Masters in Management. I was in this exact spot last March delivering an information webinar. The people who joined me then, well, some thought it wasn't for them. Perfect. That's the purpose of sessions such as these. Absolutely fine. Some hesitated. Some, I dare say, may be joining us again today or watching this recording. But some others that joined that session a year ago, what happened then? Well, some of them, they're already halfway there. They're no longer considering a master's. They are deep into the work that will define the next decade and beyond of their careers and future in general. They're becoming fully qualified, backed by Ireland's top business school and one of the EU's top 20 business schools. When I spoke to them at first, they didn't have any academic business background, just like I would imagine yourself watching this. But now they've already laid the foundations for diving deeper into management topics in year two by covering the fundamentals of human resource management, of finance, of accounting, of digital business, of leadership, teams, and of marketing. Without having to set foot on campus, or Ireland for that matter, some of them have enrolled and completed our extracurricular global leadership program. Some have enrolled in external programs of study via organizations partnered with our school's international communities, such as the Global Business School Network, GBSN. And some of them were a part of our inaugural exchange week in Madrid. And whilst that relationship with Madrid is still burgeoning, and I can't say for sure when that exchange will happen again, we are always looking at ways to enhance our students' experience. So imagine where you could be by 7:30 p.m., 7:33 by now, on Thursday, the 29th of April, 2027. Okay. We know that when you return to education, that first step is the hardest. But because you've registered for this webinar, your foot is already hovering over that threshold to one degree or another. Over the next 40 minutes or so, my goal is to help sharpen your focus so that you can finally take that step. Because once you do, as our alumni tell us time and time again, you will never look back. Now, before I get into that properly, I'd like to flag the email addresses on screen here. Should you have any questions on the admissions process for the program, please contact Smurfit Admissions at ucd.ie. And should you have any questions related to how the program works in the online space, please reach out to myself at jared.dooley@ucd.ie. Okay. So I am the program manager and learning support officer for this program. I will speak more about my specific role, which is pretty unique in UCD, a little later on in this webinar. Um, it's yeah. Let me hold that for a little while. Okay. Please pop into the questions and answers, the chat box. Any questions that you come in, we're going to take a pause in the middle for a quick, you're going to take control of things yourselves in the middle, and then we'll come back to questions at the end. So any questions that you have, you can absolutely email me. My email address, which is back on screen there. Again, any specific admissions queries, you can send them to my colleagues in the admissions team. Any queries on how the program works, send them to myself, or indeed get involved in tonight's webinar by typing it into the chat box. Okay. So my colleagues and I work in the UCD College Business Global Campus. Now, that's the unit of the college in the Smurfit Business School that manages and runs this program. Our unit also manages our undergraduate part-time programs for mature students on the main UCD campus in Belfield in Dublin and our programs in Singapore as well. So aside from being acutely aware of the needs of part-time mature students, if you are joining us today from overseas, from outside Ireland, from outside Europe, rest assured we are uniquely placed to manage students from all sorts of backgrounds and time zones. So don't worry about that. Okay. Hopefully you'll get a better sense of that as we go through tonight's presentation. So first of all, let's take a look at who we are. So we're based in Dublin, a city which, if you need reminding, is renowned for being a global hub for technology in the industry. We are the arm of University Colleges Dublin that caters to graduate students. The UCD College of Business, that is. We, the Smurfit School, cater to graduate students. The Financial Times placed the Smurfit School as the 23rd top business school in Europe in their 2025 rankings, and number one in Ireland. Underpinning all this, we also hold the gold standard for business school accreditation worldwide, and that's the triple crown of AACSB, Equus, and AMBA certification. UCD itself is the 118th best university in the world, according to the latest QS World University Rankings table, and that places us in the top 1% of institutes worldwide. Also, we rank 88th in terms of employment outcomes globally, and the 2025 QS Sustainability Rankings places UCD 49th in the world, and again, the first in Ireland. So who is this Masters in Management online for? So people who join this program do so for a whole myriad of reasons. As we've discussed, in the Smurfit Business School, we're Ireland's premier business school, and having an MSc degree from us will help to, future-proof oneself, regardless of where their careers take them in the future. People who come to us, they want to build upon their prior non-business specialization. So they would have done a different qualification other than business. And they want to tag on, they want to get that graduate qualification in management, specialize in management. Some other people may find themselves, let's be honest, stuck at a point in their career where only a master's qualification in management will help propel them forward. Now, some people have a desire to change their careers altogether. Some people have a very specific role in mind that they want. And then oftentimes our applicants are, they're perfectly happy in their careers, but they understand that there may be doors closed to them now. They're going to remain firmly closed in 5 to 10 years' time if they don't have a master's. They may have reached a point in their personal lives, as well as their professional lives, that, their level of commitments outside of work, in the home, and whatever activities they're involved in, whatever groups they're involved in, their level of commitments, it allows them to take on an MSc right now. And some people, they know that they may not have that luxury soon enough. There are people who join this program that know that things are going to get a lot busier in 5 to 10 years' time. And they know that, okay, well, before all that happens, because I'm not going to be able to do a master's then, part-time or otherwise, I'm going to do it now before all of that starts. So they don't put it off any longer. And it's our hope that with the online delivery mode, regardless of commitment levels, whatever commitment levels you have, all of our students will be able to craft their own study schedule to achieve their goals, whatever success looks like for you on the program itself. people who people join this program, some of them, they're not in a position to commit to a more traditional face-to-face, full-time for sure, or a part-time study either. Some more traditional methods of pursuing part-time study, for instance, block release weekends or evening classes, that may not be an option for them. And they may find the flexibility of this program very worthwhile. Lots of different reasons for that. A lot of people may be unable to commute to our campus in Blackrock in South Dublin for part-time study. They may be unable to relocate to Ireland for full-time study. Perhaps people have a very demanding professional or indeed personal role or roles in life, and people may have extensive travel commitments for work. People may be unable to get time off work to participate in classes. They may get the opportunity to participate in part-time studies, but when the time comes for them to ask for time off, then things might get a little bit tricky. You might be in a job where hours are either very rigid or they're very uncertain or seasonal. Other people may have very acute caring commitments for family members. You know, one thing to bear in mind as part of this, and it's important to say if you are traveling to overseas before I move on, I want to say that one thing to bear in mind, as this is an online delivered program, participants are not eligible for a student visa or for participation in the third level graduate visa program. So it's important to mention that. Okay. So that's why people join us. And that's the general cohort of people who join us. So look more closely at what you'll be doing on this program and the modules themselves. The learnings you'll get from this program, as a student on this program, you'll get a robust theoretical grounding in diverse business models. They'll equip you with the knowledge to understand various strategic frameworks in the professional world through a combination of various learning resources, and we'll come to this later, and assessment methods, and we'll talk about that too. You're going to enhance your critical thinking and decision-making skills. You'll gain a comprehensive understanding of the practical tools as well as the conceptual modules as well. So that's really important to bear in mind as well. This kind of dual focus allows you to effectively address real life business challenges with solutions that may be more innovative than the solutions that you may be coming up with now. It gives you the theory that underpins a lot of the stuff you may be doing now, but having that broad or indeed understanding of how decisions are made, that's where people really begin to use what they learn on this program. So as you see there on screen, the program is divided into 2 years. This is first year on screen there. 6 modules, they're all up here. The program's designed, that is, it's very specifically catered for students who do not have an academic background in business. As such, we need to bring you up to speed, so to speak, on all of the different subject areas that the UCD College of Business teaches. And that's what that's what all of year one is all about, bringing you up to speed. So in the first year, in the first trimester of the first year, you have your Global Leadership and Teams module, your Digital Innovation and Strategy module, then Accounting Information for Managers. Looking at those 3 modules, a lot of students coming from non-business academic backgrounds may have a sense of reluctance with regards to something like the accounting module, Accounting Information for Managers. I'm going to address this very head on because I know, look, I'll face it, I would be in the exact same boat. I don't come from a business background myself, and undertaking a program such as this, the quantitative element will be, it would cause a bit of anxiety before I kick things off. But rest assured, a module such as this is perfect for the type of delivery indeed, pardon me, that this program offers, the online delivery. And the lecturer to boot, Celine Craddock, she has been guiding non-business students on the journey of accounting for years. It's a module that considers corporate financial statements, practical financial accounting systems, and more broader managerial accounting roles. And Celine will take you through it in a way that she's just fabulous at it, and she does it so well in the online environment. So I'm not going to go into too much detail on all 11 modules on the program. I have mentioned accounting because I do feel it does need a little bit of a mention before we look at all the rest of them. The second trimester, and I'll look at the academic calendar in a moment, but the second trimester modules, as you can see there, corporate finance, marketing, and human resource management. Now, I'm not going to go through, so I've talked about accounting, I'm not going to go through the other 11 modules in the same detail. But what I am going to do is I'm going to give you the opportunity to look through them in detail. So this is going to obviously work best on playback. So if you are joining live, you will get the recording of this session. So don't worry about that. You don't need to be frantically taking out your phone now. But if you're watching on playback, simply pause the video on whatever module you want to find out a bit more about. I'm going to fly through them here and now. So you just pause it, whip out your device, and scan the respective QR code. And that'll take you to the module descriptor for this academic year. Okay, this academic year, 2025-26. Now, note that modules can change year on year, so these are for information purposes only. Okay, there may be differences come the 2026-27 academic year. Okay, so you ready? Here we go. Just going to fly through the first 6 modules. These are 6 modules in first year. So just scan your device. You want to take a look in more detail. That's global leadership and teams, digital innovation and strategy, accounting information for managers, corporate finance, marketing, and human resource management. Year 2 is where you will dive a lot deeper into your management modules. This is a master's management after all. In the same manner as before, I'm going to go through them in the same way. I'm going to bring them up on screen. And the same caveat applies, read all of these modules. They can change year on year. The QR codes that you're about to see, they'll link out to the current academic year. That is, if you're viewing this content in the spring of 2026, so do bear in mind that it is subject to change, but it does give you a good idea of the feel of what each module entails. So we've got global strategic management, your business research project, economics and markets. Then moving into the second trimester of second year, you've got managing innovative projects, building sustainable supply chain advantage, and your business simulation module. So on screen here is a kind of a master timetable of the program. Now, the important thing to note here is that, as you can see, they're bunched together into each trimester, and you'll see that the 3 of them are together. It's very important to understand that you complete 3 modules at the same time in a trimester. We don't follow a model where you complete one module from start to finish and then move on to the next one. We don't believe that is the best way to pursue a program of study in something like management or business writ large, to be honest. So for the first trimester, as you can see here, you complete global leadership and teams, accounting information and managers, and digital innovation for strategy at the same time in the first trimester. So if you are joining us for the coming intake, this trimester will begin in September 2026 and last until December 2026. Now, an important thing to note about this program, there are breaks, which is so important for the well-being of a part-time student. So you have your winter break in between autumn and spring. So after the winter break, you come back in mid-January or so of 2027. That is, if you join the program in September 2026. You take your next 3 modules. That brings you up to May 2027. So that's the spring trimester. Then you break for about 4 months or so. And you follow the same pattern again for year 2. Then you're done. Now, one thing to note, and this is important, we are exploring an option for some students on a first come, first served basis to complete their final module in person on campus. Now, if you're joining in September 2026, we're talking the summer of 2028 for that. This might be of something of that could be of interest to you if you're watching here and now, but as you can appreciate, that's nearly 2.5 years away. So I don't have either full confirmation of that or full details on that. But if you would like to email me to find out more, please just drop me a line. Okay. I thought that was important though to mention here and now. Graduation takes place each December here in Dublin. Just because you are undertaking this program online does not mean that your graduation is online. You are, I want to really get this point across, you are a fully fledged member of the UCD student community and you may graduate in person in Dublin if you are able to do so. I appreciate that may not be an option for the exact same reasons you undertook this program in the first place. So if you cannot make it to Dublin for graduation, that's not a problem at all. You can still graduate in absentia. So, big question. How is this program delivered in the online space? Well, approximately 80% or so of your learning content is pre-recorded and asynchronous in nature, and about 20% is live content. Now, that depends upon the module itself, the lecture, and again, is subject to change year on year. This is an average for the purposes of this information webinar. The broad nature of the curricula, the broad nature of the intake means that this may differ from module to module too. Got very, as you've already seen, and you can appreciate, we've got very diverse modules on the program, so there may be different approaches to teaching and learning from one module to another. On the live sessions, they are recorded. They're made available to all students afterwards. There is no mandatory live attendance element for the teaching and learning of the program. And that's very important for an online program that offers flexibility. For some modules, there may be some time-bound and time-specific assessment elements. And this, again, varies from module to module and year on year as well. So we're going to take a quick breather. I'm going to allow you to take control of things for a few minutes, maybe 2 or 3 minutes. This is going to give you a greater feel for how your learning will look online. Okay, so there's a QR code on screen there. That is going to take you to a page from where you can access our taster topics. Now, these taster topics, they're adapted versions of the actual material from 3 of the year 1 modules that we discussed earlier. So what I want you to do right now, I want you to grab your mobile device and I want you to access this page via the QR code. So unlike the other QR codes we've seen earlier, where you pause and play back, I'm going to give you 2 or 3 minutes to do this right now. So get out your phone and check out any one of these taster topics you like. That QR code is going to bring you to a page, and that page has 3 taster topics on it. Click into any one of them and just browse around to get a feel for what to expect from the modules on the program. All right. So we're looking at whether you've picked the marketing taster topic, the HRM taster topic, or the global leadership and teams taster topics. These are all online. They're static. They're not going anywhere. So you can go back and take a look at all 3 afterwards. But you're looking at the general flow and feel, how the videos are embedded into other learning text. Feel free to play out some of the videos. We'll be coming back in 2 minutes. You can pause them and take a look at them afterwards. But we're doing this just to give you a better feel for how the teaching and learning on the program works. Because let's face it, it's going to give you a better idea than anything I can tell you verbally. All right. So I hope you found that of interest. When questions that come in, we'll address them at the end. And any questions indeed arising from what you've just seen, we'll take that at the end as well. So whilst the bulk of the program takes place asynchronously, the live interaction with your lecturers and peers it's still very important in bringing everything together for you in a more bespoke manner. Now, for most of the modules, there will be live sessions about once every 3 weeks per module via Zoom. So crucially, as I've mentioned already, these sessions are recorded. So if you can't make it live, you can watch back the recording. Absolutely no problem at all. Indeed, if you do make it live, you can watch back the recording as well. You can watch it back a second time, a third time. You can watch it as many times as you like. And that's really important for a lot of students come maybe towards pinch points in the trimester where things get a little bit busy, assessment gets a little bit busy, and you want to do some revision. The ability to go back and watch the live sessions that you've already attended live, but you can watch them back. That's something that a lot of our students really appreciate, the ability to do that. The live sessions, they generally take place either on Saturday mornings Irish time or midweek evenings Irish time again. So where possible, we do not schedule any live sessions on Sundays or Friday evenings, and we also do not have sessions on any Irish bank holidays. Now, obviously, with any program that starts in several months and runs over the course of 2 years. The information on this slide could be subject to a slight change, but I do want to mention how it's going to look the initial few weeks of the program. Before I do, I do also want to mention the discussion fora and email there as well, the two other pieces of that pie, which I overlooked a moment ago. My apologies. Discussion fora. Different lecturers will use this in different ways. There's discussion for embedded into your virtual learning environment, Brightspace. So all of the content that you would have looked at via the QR code a few moments ago on the taster topics, that is all embedded seamlessly within a virtual learning environment. And as you're a UCD student, UCD uses Brightspace as the virtual learning environment of our university. So discussion forum will be embedded into that. There's obviously you will get a UCD student account in email. A lot of the email correspondence you'll get from myself. You'll get regular updates from the lecturers. I'll cover all of this in more detail a little bit later on this evening, but also this is all covered in orientation if you choose to join us. And indeed, if you have any questions, because I know you can get into the weeds on some of this stuff with regards to getting into great detail about all of the interactions that happens between the university and the student and the lecturers and those relationships. If you have any more, if you have any more questions that aren't addressed in tonight's session, again, please do email me, jared.dooley@ucd.ie. So as I mentioned, I do want to give you these information anyways, because I think it's important for you to visualize how a calendar would look. So this is for the first trimester. The program commences officially on the 7th of September 2026 for those students joining us in the next intake. This effectively means your online learning content is made available to you via your virtual learning environment, Brightspace, albeit during the entirety of the preceding week, which we call week 0 in UCD. I very much encourage you to log in and navigate your way around all of the systems so you're not coming into things cold, so to speak, and the following Monday on the 7th of September. It's not as if it's a big bang. Everything becomes available on the 7th of September. You will have no possibility of accessing anything beforehand. That is not the case at all. You will get access earlier than that, and you're feel free to pursue some of the content, any of the content you get beforehand, but do bear in mind that it may be still in beta mode, still being built. The program officially starts on the 7th of September. Your orientation takes place the following day on the 8th of September. It's live online with me. It's also going to be recorded. And that's designed to bring you up to speed on everything you will need to know in the weeks succeeding that. Now, how to navigate the technology and stuff like that. Some of it's a little bit boring, but I have to tell you anyway. But I try to do that in as engaging a way as possible. All right. I'll be in touch with you during the summer anyways, with lots of information on everything from book lists to the timings of assessment. I put a great deal of work and effort in preparing those files. We also post out a welcome pack to all students as well. We understand that as part-time students, you need as much information as possible in advance to allow you to prepare and plan. Jobs are busy, lives are busy, caring commitments for kids or parents. There's a lot of things going on for any mature student. I know from personal experience, it is really important that you have as much information out as upfront as is possible, and that's my promise to you that I'll do the very best, and I have done for the last several years to get that information out to you as early as possible, and keep you regularly updated and just keep that connection going. Okay. So after orientation, your next live touch points will be for your the live sessions for your first three modules. These sessions are interspersed throughout the trimester. This is the schedule of the live modular sessions for the first trimester. Now, let me put an asterisk on that and a caveat. These are based off the autumn 2025 trimester, so they are subject to some change for 2026. But again, in the spirit of giving you all of this information and as much information as possible, I'm putting it on screen here. So if you follow the line here, the green arrow, and it kind of goes across, down, up, and down across again. So starting off in the top left corner with your global leadership and teams first session, and then move down and across. You get an idea of how all of the live sessions are spaced apart. Something you may also notice on screen there, you'll notice that there are more sessions at the beginning of term than later on in the term. Now that's going to differ from trimester to trimester, but this schedule would be fairly, usual for the trimesters that are follow. Live sessions, they are generally, there's more of them at the start than at the end. Okay? So assessment. Every module on the program is assessed in very different ways, and you can see here some of the ways that they are assessed. Something that is common, and it's important to say, everything is assessed on a continuous basis across the trimester, and the assessment strategies that are used they're quite varied. So some of them on screen here will start in the top left. You've got simulations. We utilize third-party business simulations. Students may be asked to prepare presentations. Group work is an important aspect of the program structure. Going down to the next one, online assessment, that can come in the form of quizzes and exams. And then you have more traditional forms of assessment, such as carrying out independent, research, and more old school essay style assignments. Now, if you feel a little bit daunted by the fact that this is an online program, or that maybe you're sitting here and you're thinking, God, the equipment that you have may not be up to date, you will be able to receive technological support from the same tech team, exact same tech team that have actually developed the learning resources for this program in the first place, my colleagues in business e-learning. We pride ourselves in University College Dublin on allowing our students to develop their own digital literacy at their own pace. So people as far removed as, IT experts and IT beginners will be able to get on top of the technology from the beginning. Now, I don't want to overstate the fact that you do need to have some technical acumen to participate in an online program. I think that goes without saying. I don't want anyone to go out and start purchasing very expensive equipment, because that's not needed. If you have a decent laptop with a webcam and a good secure broadband, good secure and safe broadband connection, little bit of space in whatever your home, or if you're traveling a lot, you can participate in this program. And if you have the right attitude, then IT boundaries and digital literacy concerns should not be something that prevents you from doing this program. Again, if you want to talk more about that with me, please do drop me an email. We're very conscious that part-time students often feel, they kind of miss out on engaging with their university in the same manner that a full-time student might. And that's true. Look, there's no denying it's true. It's true to an extent, even more so maybe in an online space. However, this program, the way it is structured and the way it is managed, will strive to help you create your own communities and replicate the same type of collegial atmosphere that will foster connections and friendships and support networks over the course of the program. What makes a degree from the Smurfit School stand out, maybe by comparison to other business schools, is everything else you can accomplish whilst being a student here. And I tell everyone who enrolls on this program, you have to take absolutely everything that it's worth for it as being a big investment of money, and more importantly, indeed, your time. You need to extract everything you possibly can for that investment, a return on your investment. It's all these add-ons that you can participate in that will really enhance your CV and make your program or your qualification indeed go further. As a student at Smurfit, you can enroll in the Global Leadership Program, the UCD Advantage Award, the Smurfit Toastmasters Club. You can get Bloomberg certification, you get Microsoft certification, and others. These are changing all the time, so there may be new ones, some may fall off, but there's always lots of different opportunities there, and I'm kind of the conduit. I'll talk about that in a moment between the university and yourself, and I'll flag all of these with you. And of course, bringing this all together is the overarching flexibility and flexible environment, allowing you to achieve your goals on your own terms. I hope to play a key role in helping you achieve your goals, hopefully. As program manager, there are the logistical things that I look after, the kind of things you would expect someone working as a university program manager to look after. However, that's only one half of my role. I'm also the dedicated learning support officer for the MSc in Management Online. I become the link between you and the university in all its forms. I'm very conscious that when you participate in a program online, the idea of the university itself can become a little bit abstract. And there's no denying that the structure of the program can lend itself towards that. But that will only happen if you allow it to happen. And it is my job to help prevent that from happening. I'm available to provide you with support and advice on all course matters and be that connection point between you and the university. So to enter the program, one needs a minimum second class honours degree in a non-business discipline. When you apply online, by the way. You need to collate your academic transcripts, the original documents. If those documents are not in English, we do require certified English translations. We need your CV. References, if your primary degree is not in the English language, delivered wholly through the medium of English, you do need to provide English certification. There is a minimum IELTS score, and this is the IELTS academic version. That's important to note, which is standard for all entry to universities. So the IELTS academic version, an overall score of 7.0 and a minimum score of 6.0 for each band. There's other tests applicable too. Just take a look at our website for more details on what is and what is not applicable in that regard. So if you're joining us and you're thinking, oh gosh, okay, well, I don't fall into that bracket, that's okay. Don't log off. Stay put for 1 second. In very exceptional, pardon me, circumstances, applications may be accepted from non-degree holders with significant management experience. There is an earlier deadline for non-standard applications, and that's the 1st of August 2026. As I said, you apply online. The application fee for registrants to this webinar is waived until the 14th of May. If you're joining us, you're watching in back on recording before the 14th of May and you're considering putting in an application, do complete that application and get the full application in before the 14th of May if you want to avail of the waiving of the application fee. All right. Fees are, for this program, very important point to make, you pay this for each year of the program. They're €8,830 per year. €8,830. Excuse me. Tuition fees and other charges, they're subject to change year on year. Part-time students may see a slight increase in tuition fee for the second year of their program. There's currently, and this is an important point to make, there is currently no separate fee for non-EU students for this program. There is a single price point for all applicants. Okay. This program costs per year €8,830 with the caveats I mentioned, and that is for EU students, Irish students, including that, as well as other categories based in Europe. and anyone based outside the EU as well. Okay, so that's important to note as well. Review time for applications takes between 2 and 3 weeks. It kind of varies, gets a little bit busy, busier, I should say. They're always busy. The applications team can get a little bit busier. Come June, July, they get really busy. So that 2 or 3 weeks might tag on another week maybe to that. So get your applications in early is what I'm really saying to you there. Conditional offers are possible. So you may be waiting, for instance, on your final results from your primary degree. Absolutely fine. A conditional offer will be made, can be made on the basis of whatever you get. So the minimum second class honours and degree. The deadline for applications, it's summer 2026 or until the capacity is reached. So look, I would advise people to get an application in as soon as is possible. Certainly no later than July, became quite late. Look, if this is something you're interested in, start asking your questions now, either right now in the questions and answer section, which will be coming up in 2 or 3 minutes' time, sending me an email, sending the admissions team an email. Get that ball rolling right now and start completing your application. All right, that is my recommendation to you this evening. Before I hand it back over to yourselves, I do want to mention two final things. I want to put up a quote here from one of our alumni. So this is a student who completed the program last year. The student was based in Germany. So they study from abroad for the duration of their program. They said that even though this course is online, one of the biggest surprises for me has been how connected the lecturers and other students are to one another. In the beginning, I didn't think that I would be able to interact with instructors or classmates as I had in my previous studies. Despite studying in person at my previous college, I feel more at home at UCD. And finally, I get you to do 3 surveys, not much, over the course of 2 years. One of them is a standard end of program survey. We take feedback very seriously on the program. Any innovations that have happened since this program was developed, they come from surveys such as this and the feedback of the students. One of the questions I have on it is simply, would you recommend this program to someone? And for 2 years in a row, they've answered yes to that question, 100%. Okay, of those students in the classes of 2025 and 2026. They've all answered. Those of whom completed survey, yes. Okay. All right. So I hope that was informative. I'm going to move to a questions and answers section now. So bear with me one moment. Okay. So a question has come in from one of our participants. I'll read it out for the benefit of everyone. So are there opportunities within the program to connect in person, both with our students and through wider UC hosted events like networking sessions, industry events, or business related activities? The answer is yes to that student. So I did infer this, but this is a good opportunity to kind of build upon it. As a student on this program, you are a fully fledged member of the UCD student community. Now, it is important to say that if you are based, as some of our students are based in Australia, limited enough prospect to commute to events. I will admit that. But we have had, extended the opportunities for people to visit us if they are visiting home and stuff like that. They're more than welcome to do so. But if you are based in and around the campus or the college, if there are events taking place in person, absolutely you can join those events. The modality of your studies does not make any difference in that regard. All right. So if there's an event taking place on the Smurfit campus in Dublin, as very often happens, of course you can attend those events. Other things to mention, that if you are based in Dublin and based around the campus, I appreciate that for a lot of people joining this may not be applicable, but for a lot of people, a lot of our students are actually based in Dublin, and some of them don't live too far away from our campuses, either in Blackrock or in Belfield. You can go to the library. You will get a student card. No matter where you're based in the world, a student card will be posted out to you. There's no caveat placed upon that student card. It's not a different color. It's not a different level of access or anything like that. whilst the online suite of resources available through things like the UCD library, you're going to be using them more than physical books from the library. That doesn't mean you can actually not go into the library and get books. You absolutely can. You can access all of the physical infrastructure of University College Dublin as a student on this program. Hope that answers your question. Type in away if it has not, or if I haven't hit the nail on the head there. I think that's what you meant. Next question. If accepted, when are fees due? If you apply for this program, so fees are managed by the UCD fees office, as imagine. So I don't manage them centrally myself. However, I can tell you that there is, you don't have to pay 100% of the fees on day one or anything like that. There is a first tranche of payments is due by the September. Then there is another deadline for the balance to be paid. It's usually sometime in January. So in terms of percentages and stuff, don't quote me on that because that changes sometimes. All of the information is available on the UCD fees website. If you want to email me, I can send out that information more specifically with regards to exactly how much money needs to be paid before X date or Y date. I can tell you all that. But what I can say is you don't have to pay it all in one go. You pay it in tranches, and the first tranche is due in September, and the second one is due the following January. Okay. And you pay all your stuff fees online, and you can make as many payments as you wish. So you can chip away at the balance over time. You can pay €1 every single day or every hour for a long time, but the fees office probably would frown upon such activities, but you can do so if you wish. Just to emphasize the point that you pay online and can pay installments. Okay, as long as those deadlines are met and the minimum payments are met, then it shouldn't be an issue with the fees department. Before I go again, so it'll be more accessible on the playback. Just some more resources to check out. The first one is from one of our alumni talking about his experience on the program. I have the QR code for Taster Topics put up then again. That's the exact same one as you would have seen before. The next one is a video. It's a webinar that took place last July with two students who are based abroad. One of them was based in Australia. Another one was actually based in a number of different places, and there was an Irish-based student as well. They were talking about their experience on the program. So it was a panel interview with myself. It was very informative, or so I'm told from people who watched it. So you can access that. We hope to be having a fresh panel discussion this July, so stay tuned for that. And the last one is a really nice video from our graduation reception. We had a reception in December for our class of 2025. Yeah, it was really nice. It brought people together. People traveled from abroad to our campus in Belfield to put on their gowns and their caps and get their degree. Yeah, it was a great day, and I think the video really captures that well. It also has some testimonials embedded within it from 4 of our alumni. Okay, so it's a really good one to watch as well. Any questions for the admissions process? Smurfit.admissions@ucd.ie, and any questions to myself, jared.dooley@ucd.ie. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Whether you've joined us live or watching this back on recording, I hope to see you soon. I hope to talk to you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day. Okay, bye bye, everyone.